Hello, welcome back to Mark's Garden UK at Rose Cottage near Nantwich in Cheshire. This is my fernery. It's tucked away at the back of the cottage and it's shaded on three sides by walls, and there's an entrance here at the front, and it's a lovely cool shaded sheltered space where we keep our collection of tree ferns and lots of other ferns and other shade loving plants underneath them. Now last year I put this stepping stone path in, and I also put this patio in, and you can see videos on how I did that on my channel. I'll put a link to those at the end of this video. But today, because we're approaching the end of April, I want to get up close and personal in the fernery, because I've noticed it's like a coil spring. All these ferns are all closely packed up, waiting to explode, and I dare say in about a month to 6 weeks this will be a completely different picture. So I'll go round the ground and I'll give you an up close view of what's there and what's waiting to spring into life. We'll also have a very close up look at some of these tree ferns, and I'll show you what mine are like, because I know it's a hot topic at the moment. Everyone's talking about the tree ferns and whether they've survived the winter. Fingers crossed, I think I've got good news, and I'll show you what I've got. So let's get started. Now the first thing I want to point out is I've got a line of gravel down here. And you might be thinking, why has he put a line of gravel down? Well, we don't have any gutters on our thatch roof, and the rain just pours down. And when it pours down and hits the soil, it splashes all the soil against the walls, and there's a French window. So put that gravel down and it just absorbs the water and takes away its impact and stops it from splashing back. Planted into that gravel here, to my right and to my left, are Shuttlecock Ferns. Now look at them, tiny little balls, but they've got the potential to be a metre high. I've put some other plants in here which also have potential to grow to a metre high, which is about my hip height. The tiny little things at the moment, but they can grow massive, and so the whole picture here will change when they grow. It will become a much more enclosed, cocooned, green space. And I'll give you an idea of what I'm talking about. Firstly, the Shuttlecock Ferns, and then down here I've got two giant Hostas. One of them is called Empress Wu and the other is called Jurassic Park. I'll put the links to those in the description box. In fact, I'll put the link to all the plants in the description box below this video. But these small Hostas, what appear to be small Hostas, are actually slug and snail resistant. That's one of the reasons I bought them. But they're very, very large, and again they will fill this space. And eventually, in a year's time, possibly two, I'll have to start dividing them and putting them in other parts of the garden. The same is true of the Shuttlecock Ferns here. They can come right up here. Now down at the back there's the Harts tongue fern, and it looks nothing at the moment, but I'll give you a close-up view. There's about a dozen tiny little fingers, croziers, of fern leaves about to unfurl, and again that will produce lovely long tongues. So we've got that to look forward to. These two ferns here, they're evergreen ferns. They've stayed green all winter, but they've also produced new leaves this spring. So we've got dark leaves from last year and lovely bright lime green leaves from this year. All over the floor in here I've planted Mind Your Own Business, and I did an experiment with the Mind Your Own Business where I chopped it all, took a piece out, chopped it all up with a pizza cutter and spread it over some soil in a bathtub just to see if it would propagate anyway, to come back to life. Mind Your Own Business is a plant with about 12 different names, and it's quite an invasive plant, and I want that because I want the whole soil area in here to be covered in this lovely green carpet. There's a particularly nice area down here which I'll show you in close-up. But that will cover the whole of the soil, and it will also cover these gaps between the stepping stones. So it'll look like you're stepping through a sea of green along here. Now I've also planted into the ground, I think 6 Arum lilies. One of them is just starting to pop up here, and there's another one down here to my right. And they have lovely lush green leaves and beautiful white trumpet-like flower heads. And they look lovely in the evening. And what I've done is I've bought a set of Uplighters. Again, I'll put the link to these Uplighters in the description box below this video. I bought them off Amazon, and if you buy them I do get some commission. But they're lovely really, they're very easy to assemble. You just plug them in. I've got an outside plug socket here. You just plug them in and point them wherever you want, and at night when it goes dark you've got this lovely effect. Now the effect at the moment, which I will show you, I'll put some footage of them at night at the end of this video, The effect at the moment is good, but it gets even better. The more leaves that grow up and they shine up through those leaves and create a lovely green glow in this space. So on a hot summer's evening, we can sit here in this lovely green space. It's quite relaxing actually. And I've dotted those Arum lilies all around the place in amongst the Hostas. Interestingly, down here, I recently moved this pan sculpture in here. It wasn't always here. And interestingly, I didn't realise I've put it on top of a Hosta. And that Hosta, nature's a very powerful force. That Hosta is forcing its way up through the gravel at the side of the pan sculpture. Now let's have a look at some tree ferns. And I've been calling them fronds. I've always called the leaves fronds. Some people call them croziers. And I do protect my tree ferns in the winter, and there's a video about tree fern protection on my channel. But I do think it's important to protect them. It's probably not necessary actually, but given the cost and the expense of these plants, you might as well look after them as best you can, so these do get protected. So I'll have a look at this one first because it's low down, I can see it. And then we'll stand on a chair and we'll look inside some of these tall ones. These are quite expensive. I think they were about £60 a foot last year, and they've gone even higher than that this year. And I think one of the reasons for that is scarcity. Apparently, I heard a rumour that they're going to stop exporting these from places like Tasmania. What I've done with mine is, as you can probably see, I've braced them because they're not planted into the ground. They're actually just sat on the ground. It's like a tree stump that's been chainsawed off, and it's just sat on the ground. There's no roots on there. There are roots on some of the others which are shorter, but these tall ones are just planked on the ground, so I've had to brace them with these pieces of wood. It's not ideal. Wouldn't really want to see that, but I don't want to run the risk of them blowing over or toppling over and landing on someone. Because don't forget, in about a month's time, this will be a big umbrella of croziers or fronds, and it will be top heavy. It'll be like a big sail. So that's why I've done that. Now, while we're on the subject of tree ferns, I do read a lot of comments about tree ferns, and people worry about the tree ferns. I can understand that given the expense of these things. This one here didn't do anything for 18 months. It just sat dormant, and I thought it was dead. And then last year it produced 7 new fronds, and I can see already this year it's got 3 new ones already coming up. So the message there is be patient. Don't throw them on the skip. Just keep waiting. Keep looking after them. Keep them moist in the summertime, and you never know what will happen. I've also put some of those Jurassic Park and Empress Wu Hostas at the back here, and they're all starting to come up. And again, more Harts tongues ferns. So there we are. That's what it looks like now, mid to late April. I feel if it's been a slow start to the year actually, but we're definitely getting there now. So I wanted to put it on record for posterity because I want to compare what it looks like now to what it's going to look like in a month's time. Hope you've enjoyed that. Please do subscribe, hit the notifications bell, and if you want the plant descriptions, look in the description box below this video. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.